Good morning, teacher. My name is Oscar Orozco, and I belong to English 5 course and the group 4. I'm gonna talk about the food crisis around the world, and I'm gonna talk about three principal ideas. The first one is what I think about it, what I think about the food crisis around the world. The second one is the future of food is the video that we saw, the Nat Geo video talking about the food crisis and the strategies. And the third one is how the food crisis could be end. There are the three things that I'm gonna talk about. The first of all is what I think about the food crisis around the world. If we see teacher or country at if we see the world and what is happening about the food crisis, we can. I thought that this situation appears, principle because the politics decision, the bad politics decision about the grow up, about the farming in our land. We grow up, we farm, know what we need to feed our country. We don't farm with that idea. We farm with the idea that we must farm what is sell in other countries with a highest price. That's what I that's what I see, and that's a very sad situation because we must to import a lot of food to feed our country. Today we are importing rice. That's ridiculous. We have some department in of country that are farming to rice. And how, what is the reason? Because we must to import rice. That's what I one of the things that I thought about it. And if we see some politics decision that show the situation, that show that we must grow up what we can sell in other country with a higher price. If we change that way of think, if we change that we must grow up or farm or land, first of all, we because we need to feed the country, we need to produce all the food what we need to eat. The situation could become here in Colombia and in other countries around the world. And about that, I'm gonna talk later about it because there are some of the strategies that the man of the interview to that Geo told us. One of the strategies to reduce the biofuels, but I'm gonna talk about after that. That's what I talk about the food crisis around the world. The principal reason that we have food crisis are the worst politics decision about food. The second one thing that I'm gonna talk about is about the future of the world. The excuse me, teacher. The future of food. The Nat Geo interview. The reality is that interview is very interesting because that man show us first of all three issues, three principal issues that could become in future goals if the country do as if the world do what we must do. We can become that issues in future goals. The first issue is we must to fill the world. Today around the world are millions of people that don't have secured their food, and that's terrible. Today is a issue, and in the coming future could be a goal. The second one is meeting future demands. meeting futures demands. All day, all all day, and in each moment, in each second, are born new peoples. How I say in another video, each second that it pass in the world, we must to feed 2.5 person more, 2.5 person more that are recently born. That's incredible. The population of the world is increasing, is growing up too fast. We must think that what we are going to do to feed that new peoples. And the third one is protecting the planet. Is a very important issue, because if we think how are how we are farming our land, we can see that there are a lot of agriculture bad impact. The agriculture had a bad impact in the planet. There are the three issues. If we want change that issues in future achievable goals, we must do, or Nat Geo proposes five strategy. There are stop deforestation, and that is very clear. Today we are cutting native trees only for two things. First of all, for recreation, and the second one for agriculture. We cannot cut more native trees to do recreation farm or something like that, or to make new grow up farming new foods or something like that. The second one is deliver more nutrition on less land. We must to produce the food that we need in the land that we have today. The worries that we already have, we must to produce uh, we must to produce food in the land that we already have, and that is connected with the first strategy. If we stop deforestation, is because we are making agriculture growing up or farming the land in the land that we have today. That's the second one. The third one is, excuse me, teacher, more food with less water and with less chemical. That is very important. We are using a lot of water in agriculture. And additional, we are using a lot of chemicals in agriculture, and that is very bad. We cannot we cannot do that. We cannot um, um, we cannot use a lot of water in agriculture. We must to reduce the use in agriculture. The other one is rethinking of our diets, and the use of biofuels. We must to change that. We cannot continue eating fast food or something like that. We have a very bad diet, and that is very important to change. And the biofuels, that's absolutely ridiculous, teacher. Today, the 40% of I don't know how to say that. The 40% of the palmas are destined to create biofoods, and that is very very sad, and we must to stop that. And the last one is reduce waste, the garbage. The 35% of the food that we produce is not eat. That's incredible, teacher. We must to change that. We must to eat all the food, all the food that we produce, and if I cannot eat all of them, I must to share with another people. Uh, to finish, teacher, I said that this situation born in the heart of the people. Today we have a culture that we don't want to share with anybody. We want to share what we have. We want to have more, or we want to be more rich. That's the situation, and I don't matter. The people doesn't matter what is happening with another people, and that is very terrible, teacher. To change that, the change must to begin in of heart, in of heart. Thank you, teacher.